The purpose of this video is to describe the current state challenges present in Minnesota's state Medicaid environment. This content builds upon the challenges we identified that are commonly present in the IT delivery model. This video is part 2 in a series of videos to diagnose our challenges impacting Medicaid enterprise system modernization. To recap our prior video, we've defined a few key terms that are important for setting the context as well as the most critical IT delivery challenges to consider. We laid out the following key concepts and terms to define this model. First, there's the current state, the existing structure, processes, and technology architecture supporting the organization's ability to fulfill its mission. There's the future state, a planned revision to the current state, hopefully capable of fulfilling the organization's mission more effectively once improved by an initiative. There's the scope, a solution idea proposed to change the current state to a different future state with the expectation of improvement. Activities, work performed to deliver the scope, outputs, tangible deliverables resulting from the activities, mandatory compliance items, requirements established for the purpose of limiting risk and avoiding major incidents. Note we consider compliance requirements to apply to the current state, improvement activities in progress, and future state environment. Outcomes, near-term results experienced through activities and output delivery, and impact, the organizational impact experienced through the accumulated outcome improvements. For clarity purposes, perhaps we should refer to the desired outcomes and impacts as future outcomes and future impacts to differentiate this from the current outcomes and current impacts being experienced in today's existing environment. We highlighted 3 summary-level issues that manifest from typical IT delivery models. A main source of many problems is with the scope, that it's hard to predict which ideas will lead to improved outcomes. We then have the issue that a lack of focus, understanding, and accountability for outcomes often drives a focus on activities and outputs, preventing organizations from understanding which scope ideas drive positive results. And we have the issue that lead times are often much too long, preventing us from knowing if the scope improves outcomes until it's too late to change course. With this background, let's explore Minnesota's current state Medicaid enterprise environment and identify unique challenges we see in this environment. As mentioned in the prior video, we find most scope ideas originate from people in the current state environment who observe poor outcomes or critical business operations issues and want to improve things. This can include, but is not limited to, the recipients of state services, providers of services, staff supporting providers and recipients, counties and tribal nations, policy experts, data analysts, contract managers, people managers, and leaders. It also includes vendors like managed care organizations who administer roughly 3/4 of the state's Medicaid services to members. At the executive level, ideas are summarized in strategic plans, which describe the high-level vision, goals, and objectives for the agency. These plans have been informed by external strategy consultants who have been engaged in the past to assess the environment and propose roadmaps. Not only do the folks we've just mentioned have ideas, but also external regulators, legislators, and the federal partners who provide funding. We have an active legislature that often solidifies new ideas in the form of laws and policies, and an active governor's office that commonly communicates ideas via governor's orders or program mandates. These ideas are often expressed in the form of predetermined solutions or desired outputs rather than outcomes. To manage and prioritize the ideas impacting Medicaid, we've established a Medicaid Enterprise Systems Oversight Group called RAMP, redesigned for an agile Medicaid program. RAMP coordinates with other governance groups that manage and prioritize ideas DHS-wide, like the System Governance Groups, Architectural Domain Teams, an Executive Steering Committee, and Enterprise Architecture Board. Through RAMP planning and oversight, several major Medicaid system modernization efforts are already in progress, including vendor contracts to deliver licensing, pharmacy, EBV, and long-term care and waiver services solutions. Our Minute PMO manages the IT delivery model for these major delivery efforts, ongoing operations, and smaller change projects to existing systems. Other groups like the Business Solutions Office and Service Delivery Transformation Teams have been established to support centralized capabilities and provide coordination between business areas and IT, as well as champion the shift from a project mindset to a product model, but we are in the earlier stages of this formation. Through our governance process, ideas make their way to one of these groups of implementers to take ideas through this idea-to-outcome improvement lifecycle. As covered in the prior video, our inability to be sure about which solution ideas will achieve our desired outcomes affects most organizations with this structure. Industry-leading practices and a reason for our shift to a product model indicate that better ideas originate from a discovery process in which skilled practitioners observe and interview the people closest to the solution, especially when guided by a clear, outcome-based vision and in collaboration with policy experts aligned to that vision, and especially when the end-to-end outcome experience is kept in focus. However, the structure of our overall environment naturally causes barriers between the people who benefit from or provide our services, the people who implement technology to make it easier to receive or provide our services, and the people leading, strategizing, managing, and governing this work. These barriers hinder critical communication between these groups that should be collaborating fluidly, reducing trust and pushing the responsibility for idea generation and decision-making to individuals several layers removed from the point of member interaction. Further, Medicaid business environments are highly complex and subject to many complicated laws and policies that must accommodate a range of conditions from remote rural to dense urban population centers and from common preventative to acute care only possible through government-provided services. The One Minnesota plan and vision set out by our governor's office seeks to provide a maximum level of equitable benefits to our constituents, which amplifies this complexity. We also experience competing interests from different state and federal agencies and departments, lacking goal alignment and commonly following different processes and procedures. Changes in politics and organizational structures can create periodic shifts in priorities that are highly subject to amplified messages from the media, causing shifts in public perception. Additionally, DHS is in the process of realigning into 3 separate agencies, creating new organizational boundaries to navigate. Managing this work is demanding, and the dedicated individuals working in this environment are swamped, with little time to devote to work beyond urgent emergencies. Decision-making in this structure can be challenging, which must take into consideration a variety of needs and perspectives. The governance process is not clear to everyone wishing to provide input and is not optimized for ingesting ideas originating from the teams themselves. This often results in decision delays while ideas make their way from the decision makers to the doers, further lengthening lead times and creating backlogs of overlapping and potentially conflicting ideas to be implemented with little clarity on priority or value. Backlogs that are overwhelming our delivery mechanisms, resulting in only the most urgent issues receiving attention. On top of that, the new projects being initiated can consume a majority of our existing team's capacity, leaving little time to maintain operations of existing business. Each new project adds to the operational workload, yet operational funding continues to be less available to support this increasing demand. Another factor that contributes to long lead times in these environments is the state of existing systems and architecture. Our MMIS system is an older mainframe solution still supporting our core Medicaid business functions. We have 2 primary eligibility systems: Maxis, which is an older mainframe system managing cash, food, and non-Magi Medicaid eligibility, and METS, a system implemented as part of the Affordable Care Act that manages our Magi Medicaid population. Our Minute teams have implemented many smaller portals and other systems surrounding the MMIS mainframe, including but not limited to Minutes, a portal for providers supporting fee-for-service claim submission, and MPSE, a provider enrollment and provider management system. We have limited central integration and data management capabilities supporting our continually growing list of systems and user portals. Several of our solutions are configured to integrate with a central enterprise service bus, but it is currently being used to facilitate point-to-point communication between systems. Each time a new idea is sent down as a new systems project, the number of required integrations increases, creating an exponentially expanding web of complexity, which is often a limiting factor preventing new solution ideas from achieving their desired outcomes and disappointing the stakeholders and sponsors who advocated for the new solution idea in the first place. In many cases, the individuals who designed and built these solutions have retired or are near retirement, and system documentation and knowledge required to maintain this web are limited. We struggle to establish and maintain the source of truth for critical system information. Making changes in this environment can be risky and quite time-consuming, resulting in lead times measured in months or even years. We continue to see the accumulation of technical debt as changes are layered on top of this environment without time to implement common enterprise architecture capabilities. While it may appear that replacing the technology will be the solution to our problems, we recognize it as a symptom of deeper institutional issues. The environment surrounding the technology is poorly designed for the digital age. We see our dedicated public servants caught in an accountability trap, in which accountability for outcomes is retained at the highest level of the organization and accountability for following direction is pushed downward. For the individuals at lower levels, this can foster an order-taker mindset, with staff learning to keep their heads down, stay in their lanes, and avoid taking risks, challenging questionable requests of their time, or offering their unique perspectives. This is a systemic issue, not at all the fault of the amazing individuals at all levels in these roles doing the best they can, but who are evaluated on how well they follow the process rather than whether their actions improve outcomes for the organization. The result can become a self-perpetuating cycle. The impact achieved in the current environment fails to meet expectations, causing pressures from legislators and other leaders to implement solution ideas faster, mostly generating more activity and outputs and more solution ideas in the form of new systems to be joined into our tangled technology web, but rarely improving outcomes or impacts. The impacts are very public, and government leaders are under pressure to deliver quick fixes. This situation is not at all unique to Minnesota. Once state leaders recognize the web that has been created, a common response is to request to modernize or replace the aging technology. Given the complexity, this work is often outsourced to vendors with little to no understanding of the current environment. Rarely are the environmental issues addressed or even acknowledged. The modernization of these environments requires the purchase of many expensive enterprise architecture capabilities in parallel with new business capabilities. These capabilities could be statewide or DHS-wide, which introduces political, funding, and prioritization challenges requiring alignment among each of the groups we discussed earlier. However, we do not have alignment. Different business areas working to achieve the exact same goals must invest many years of hard work to procure a vendor solution expected to meet their needs. Vendors secured by one business area may be viewed as a redundancy threat or waste of funding to another, creating a situation in which management allocates capacity to undermining other department projects and defending their own. It is not surprising that the track record from other states attempting modernization efforts is not good. We are not aware of an example in which a state has completed a large-scale modernization effort for a cost justified by the benefits received. Okay, let's stop here and recap our summary challenges list so far. In addition to the scope, outcomes, and lead time challenge issues identified in the IT delivery model challenges video, it seems the current state technology and environment conditions surrounding the Medicaid enterprise are also key contributors to our overall outcome struggles. And this brings us to the challenges facing our modernization initiatives and where our governance structures play a part in these challenges, which we'll cover in the next video.